Hi, everyone. I got a special guest, a special honor for me, myself, is Steve the Hurricane is with us here in Empire. That's right. Yeah. So excited to have him part of over here and to share his story and talk about, him and himself. But glad to have him about a specific topic today we're going to talk about. And that is going to be about how the value of sharing your story and utilizing that and repurposing that on social media. And I the first just wanted to start off with saying thank you for having coming on our show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love doing this type of stuff. First, it's easy for me to be able to do because I got the whole setup. And the other part of it is it's a great way just to continue to put good content out there and keep it relevant and just help people grow. That's what I've been doing for the last decade now. So why not continue, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so important to be able to share that this content. And that's why you and I are on here too, is that to show that actually valuable of your voice matters. And everybody's voice matters, no matter what state you're in, what continent you're in, even if you have an accent, your voice matters so much. And that's what we wanted to discuss is that do you remember the first time that you actually started doing sharing your story and and the experience of that? Like the very first time you learning it and you actually started getting your voice out there and sharing it on video.
So the first time I did, I totally remember like it was yesterday because this is our 10-year anniversary year. As a matter of fact, my 10-year anniversary of starting my company is in 2 months. And so
Congratulations.
thank you. So, with that said, and because it's coming up so quickly, we've been doing a lot of re-releasing the videos that we filmed when we first got started. And I laugh because the content is still relevant today, even though it's been 10 years. Marketing is marketing. Running a home care business is running a home care business. And yes, there's tweaks. Yes, there's things different that we have to do. But the core of everything that I always talked about, it's still relatively the same today as it was 10 years ago. The other reason why I love looking at those videos, though, is besides the nostalgia and the content being relevant still, the part that I love is I look very different now than I did then. And the amount of professionalism that went into the videos now versus then, it is night and day. When I first got started, I was using an iPad and it had, I think, a 720p video camera. I had a cheap microphone that plugged into it. I had poor lighting, so there were shadows everywhere. The camera kept coming in and out of focus. When I was editing, the music was too loud in some videos. And I just laughed because when I first put it out, this was the best that I could do at the time. I didn't have the resources to get a videographer. I didn't have the resources to get an expensive camera and microphone equipment. I used what I had. I put the content out, but it was good enough for me to be able to get the business going. It was good enough for me to start growing my following, which led people to reach out to me for services because I didn't have the resources to budget to
Yeah.
advertise. And so that's what I love about looking back at 2012 when I got started to obviously where I am today, where we have, a professional videographer. I have a film studio. I have all of my, 6
Yeah.
foot logo, everything behind me. It's much different today than it was then, but still the same thing is happening as it did then.
So when you're ready to apply your content, now I'm assuming that before you didn't have a content calendar, but now like you have a content calendar, whereas like you know exactly what you're gonna say at specific times. Is this something that you advise for other people to create? So listen, I'm gonna prepare this week. This is what I'm gonna say, and this is what I'm gonna. If you have an editor, I'm gonna send it to my editor. If you're gonna be the editor, that's fine. Learn how to do it, but then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this week and then carry on the next week and do the next. Is this something that you advise the public on about creating a content calendar?
Yes, definitely. So when I think about the way that I do things, because as a home care business owner, you're very similar to me as a consultant, right? So
Yeah.
we have a
I'm also
million things that
a
we have
business
to do.
home care owner too, but as well. But the same thing as coming from today is helping people. Yeah, I know what you're
Right.
saying.
And so you have to have that calendar. And what I recommend people do is do it in chunks. So I usually film 8 to 12 videos at one time in one session. So that gives me content good for a certain period of time. So I don't have to do it every single week or every 2 weeks or something. The only other thing that I will say, though, is leave yourself some flexibility so that if there's something that happens nationally or something that happens globally, you have the freedom to be able to jump on a hot topic immediately. So I think back to like when the pandemic first started, for example, I had a dozen videos filmed, ready to go, all set up with newsletters and e-blasts and everything to be able to get the word out over the next quarter. Well, when the world shut down, I had to take some of those videos, hold off on releasing them. I eventually released them, but I had to hold off a little bit because I wanted to talk about what it was like marketing, what it was like running a business during a shutdown, because I had experience when I ran my home care company way back 12, 13 years ago, when we had the lockdown for the H1N1 swine flu, if everybody remembers that. So even though the lockdown wasn't the way this past one was with the coronavirus, we still had lockdowns where you couldn't do marketing events, you couldn't go to referral sources, you couldn't do everything the way we normally did. It was exactly the same for the pandemic. So I had all this experience having marketed and ran a home care agency during that time. So I created a new set of videos to go out immediately to be able to stay ahead of what was going on currently in the world at that time.
So what I take is that, so this is someone that's advanced, that they're going to do 8 to 10 videos, batch those, and then use that to repurpose it onto your newsletters, into your face social media, right? And correct. So obviously you said also too is be aware that things change, and in things that change, you definitely want to put that in the beginning. You want to forefront those and make sure you highlight whatever happens going on to this current day of age right now. And so that way they can stay updated and you're the source. But then also I wanted to go into about sharing is that you can also go and create a 10-minute video and chop it up to 2 minutes if you want to too. And you can go ahead and talk. And that's another way that you could be able to create video and use that towards posting that onto your social media and everything else as well too. Do you do that sometimes? Do you sometimes make a long video and then chop it up?
For me, not too often, but that's also because, you remember, I got 10 years experience now doing this, where every single week, we'll say 45 weeks out of the year, we have new video content coming out for 10 years now. So we're talking about almost 500 videos. Yeah. I'm pretty good. I can get on point, get on camera. I know 5 to 7 minutes is my sweet spot length. I know that I could probably push it to maybe 10 minutes. So I'll shoot, get it done in one take and move on to the next. There are times, though, when I do my promo videos. So like I have conferences, I have boot camps that are my events that people want to register and come to, where they'll be with me for 3 days and I'm going to actually train them in person. When I do those promo videos, I often will do exactly what you said. Shoot 10, 15 minutes of content, take long pauses. So I'll speak on a certain topic or a certain point, pause for about 3 to 5 seconds, maybe glance down, look at the next point, take a deep breath, and go into the next one, so that this with my video editor, he can take that 10, 15-minute video, chop it up and splice it, and then make a promo video that's maybe 90 seconds long, 60 seconds long from 15 minutes worth of content.
And I wanted people to hear exactly this point right here. If you have to rewind this video, is hearing that what he does right there. He pauses and waits and then goes ahead and nails it. And if he didn't nail it, wait 5 seconds, redo it again. Do it again. Yeah, exactly. So don't fear that if you're out there and you don't nail it. Like sometimes we do this 5 times, 10 times, until actually you nail it. And what we see in the public scene is that it's perfect, But the reason why is that we took one of the 5 that we liked and we actually spliced it. And that's what you see, and it's not always easy to share your story, and it's not always glamorous, right? And everybody, as you see, Steve's capacity of the things that he does, actually, he goes through the same thing that you have to go through, right? It's inevitable. And so, what were some content a beginner for someone getting out there as a beginner to be able to share? What would you advise somebody that's just new at this?
And the biggest thing that I would advise, and as we're talking here, I'm actually pulling up a picture. The biggest thing that I would advise is to be authentic, meaning be who you are. Be the same person on camera that you are when you're running your business, that you are even when you're home with your family. A lot of folks try to have this stage presence, or they try to put on a show and not be real. Your audience can see through that. And I think back to many of the compliments that I've received over the years. My favorite compliment came from Kanu Kushal, who's the founder of the Independent Home Care Alliance. And he told me after coming to my events for several years in a row that what I love about you, Steve, is I'm sitting here right now with you. We're having a cigar at a bar down in Clearwater, Florida. He's like, you're the same guy sitting here having this cigar with me
On the
in
video.
Clearwater as you are in the videos, as you are when you're speaking on stage, and he saw me with my family the day before. And he's like, as you are with you're the same person. And I was like, well, that's how it should be. And he goes, yeah, that's authenticity. And a lot of people are not authentic. They try to fake something.
Yeah.
You want to be real. And I'm going to show you this picture here. All right. So that picture right there is a picture of me that I took last week on Wednesday. And the reason why I posted that picture and I look like I'm having a bad day, I was having a bad day. That's transparency. That's being authentic. So I took that picture, I put it online, and I said, every day, the grind, it isn't glamorous every day. Yeah, it's glamorous when I'm standing on stage. Yes, it's glamorous when I'm signing up new customers, but the work that goes in between, the work that goes with fulfilling this or traveling here or doing or making events, it's a grind. It's a lot of hard work. And I am human and I have those days. When I posted that on all of my social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, hundreds of comments.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling us this because it seems like everything is perfect. You reminded us that it's not always perfect and it's okay not to be perfect. I got 50 things done that day. I was exhausted. As a matter of fact, it took me all the way through the weekend to be able to recover from last week and how busy it was. But that's what it takes to be successful. And when you put the truth out there, people respect it, people see it, and you'll end up getting more business from it because it's real.
Yeah. People want to see that, and then social media nowadays they see like it's a quick fix. All these things that so glamorous and so so perfect, and quick fix businesses out there. They think it just happens overnight. I mean, I know this is my 10th year of being in private duty, and I've gone through pain. I've gone through different things in my life, and I swear, and then I am okay to share it with anybody who's around me because you know what? That's who made me. That's who made me who I am, where I am right now. And it's only what made our team stronger too. It made us stronger. And that's what those are the things that are important, I think, with social media is that don't fear that if you say something wrong or if you say so, if you're gonna, stumble over your words every once in a while, pronounce it. The newscasters out there can't be perfect out there, and they make mistakes all the time, and so there's nothing going to be perfect in life, and especially, and I think that's good for people to understand that watching this is that don't understand it. This is an imperfect world we live in. It's how it is, and it's hard to be it's hard to make sure that your videos are going to be perfect, but being real and being empathetic, and I think those you can't fake that. And if you're in the home care industry, I know for sure most people I know that that are interested to learn how to do this is that they're in it for the right reason, and compassion and passion can't be mistaken if they truly, really, truly want to see them, see their business be successful. And that, just like you said, it's going to come with hardship. I mean, before this, I did another interview, and who knows, after this, I know, a person that's involved with social media, they could be doing a TikTok video, an interview at the same time, talking to your team about, a newsletter that's going to be going out or creating the next event that's coming about. And these all things happen, and it's like a fire hydrant that's coming at you. But at the end of the day, I think what's really important is to share in your stories that you love what you do, because if you love what you do and you enjoy, I think it's like almost Easter is coming up, and I know you can appreciate and with faith is that like understanding the joy of what you're doing in relationships, in your family, in your friends, and there's repentance, right? And there's things that are not going to be perfect, and there's people not going to like you, and there's going to be posts that you don't like, and there's people that don't like your posts, and it's good to understand is that if you show joy into, even if they say something negative to you, and you take that in and you translate that into something positive, into something that you show that you love, and you show that to the world and share it to it, there's nothing more than people will come back to you and say, hey, listen, this person really enjoys what he does and what he enjoys to do. And then this is going to translate into other people seeing that, hey, listen, I want to follow them. I want to follow them because they have that, you know, and that energy out there. And so that's really, I think that, to me, I know, and I would say for you, what would you say the biggest joy for you for all the I mean, you say you have 500 videos and all this. What brings you the most joy now in
Well, you know, you said
what
a
you do?
mouthful there, Chris, and I got like three things to say on that because it's very true what you said. So the first part of it is don't be afraid to make a mistake, like you had mentioned, right? You're putting out your videos. The reason why I put out so many videos is some videos go viral. Some videos I think are going to go viral. 100 people watch it, maybe. I get no comments, no likes, or anything. So be
Just for
consistent.
are
The
out
consistency
there.
is the key.
Yeah.
That's more important. Second thing that you had mentioned that I really want to touch base on is when you get the trolls, the internet trolls that are out there that put the hate language out there, or they don't like it, they put comments. Very early on when I got started, it's very hard not to take it personally. I put some videos out. There were people that when I owned my home care business for 7 years, I used to market, these were my friends. They watched the video and they basically commented on it as if I wasn't going to see it. And they said some very hurtful, hateful things about the video. And it hurt. Like it made me doubt what I was trying to accomplish and doubt what I was trying to do. But I said, you know what? Move forward. It is what it is. You make it happen. And then eventually Stephen Tweed, who's actually one of my biggest competitors, he had put out something and he said something that really, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was very contradictory and extremely condescending. As if, you know, well, this, you know, that's what works for you kind of a thing or whatever. And I responded with, no, I have clients. This is very real. And you can't tell me what works and doesn't. I owned my own business. This is what we did. This is how I grew at the $5 million plus a year in private pay revenue. So I'm sorry if it didn't work for you and your clients, but this does work when you do what I'm teaching you and you come back and you get stronger because of it. And that kind of leads you to the last part, which is the joy that you had mentioned, right? When this happens, you continue to move forward. You have to know that not everybody's going to like you. All right. About 80% of the people who watch my videos, 80% of the people who hear me speak at conferences, 80% of the home care space adore and cherish me. That means that 20% can't stand me, right?
Yeah.
And I've dealt with a lot of that. I've had to overcome adversity, and that's totally fine because I don't want to work with every person either. I want to work with people who want to work with me. And so when people see my content and people see what it's going to do, and then even if I get the occasional negative feedback, I can live with it. I've seen it happen where I have one bad review on Facebook. Now I believe it's like 70 or 80 reviews. Majority are 5 stars, a couple are 4 stars, and one is a 3-star. And I have this one star. And that one star actually helped me because every person who read that and commented on it and said, you know, this is the first and only negative thing I've ever seen about this company, that speaks volumes because they knew it was real. I had another person who had commented on it and said that, wow, look at how fast the response was on this, right? It was a compliment on my customer service where the person gave a negative feedback, and then you saw my time, and it was probably, I think, 15, 16 minutes after the negative comment came in where I commented and said, reach out to me directly. Here's my email. I'll take care of this and make this right for you. And then all the comments came, wow, look at how fast that was, because we want to make right by everyone. So even when I got that negative feedback, I turned it into a positive, and that's what gives me joy. And now at this point, 10 years later, every once in a while, when I get a negative comment, I have such a large following. My following comes to the rescue. And you're like, well, you don't know Steve, and Steve's amazing.
Yeah. People back you up, you know.
And they start talking to me, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. 10 years after I got started. So that's where my joy really comes in. It's turning people who didn't like me into those who do. It's seeing just how appreciative people are for the information. And when I get those emails, or I've received letters in the mail, a person sent me a bottle of wine. I get gifts that come to me thanking me. You know, I started my business because of you. All these amazing things come from putting out the content consistently. So focus on the good, not on the bad. That's what brings you to joy. Yeah.
And I know you speak as a consultant, but it's so valuable when you do it as a home care company, and you go to your market and down the street, and someone says like, hey, like I watched your video on dementia, or I watched one of your videos that helped me, guide me, take care of my parents. And or people calling and say, hey, listen, I'm not calling to ask you questions. I've watched your stuff. I'm asking you, can I set up an assessment? I'm not asking, they're not screening you anymore. All your questions were answered, or my questions were answered already from the content that you delivered. And that's what the home care owner that's watching this is, that if they can give out as much information and share as much questions that are actually our callers and our intakes are asking, and give them as much information to give them that value, then you're not only valuable in the marketplace, just how Steve has people sending him gifts because it's a thank you that, hey, listen, your content what made me feel where I'm at in my life right now. And this is the same reason why I wanted to people understand sharing your content out there is that you might not get a like, you might not get a comment, and they might not call you right now, or they might call you next year. But that information is going to be, I'll tell you, I have, social workers from hospitals, every major hospital in Michigan call me and they ask me questions because based off of a video that they've seen or something that we've done in the community whatsoever. This might have been 5 years ago, an event they watched, or they seen back in Facebook. But the thing is that you need to spill it out online, and you don't know, one day your biggest account will call you, or your account that said no to you, that said no to you for the past year will call you because you're in their face, you're in their mind, and that's the value I feel like that of continually sharing your content. And if you're not doing it, I also noticed is the new era. I'm 38 right now, and I feel like that I've hit the ground for the last 10 years marketing and shaking hands and setting up meetings and going to developing relationships, going to networking events all the time. And now like the new era thinks like they don't have to do that anymore. And COVID, it really stopped after 2 years. They think that it's all about social media. It's all about Google ads, all about newsletters. I'm sorry, but no. Both. Nobody stops me and you. If I want to call you up right now, I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna set up a time and be like, hey, listen, I want to see you in person, and you and I are interaction, having a beer together. Well, nothing will ever replace me seeing you in person, and this will never change. There's no robot. There's no video that's gonna ever stop you stopping by your accounts and you being genuine and shaking their hand, introducing yourself on a consistent basis to develop a relationship. There's no robot. There's nothing out there that will replace it besides you hitting the ground. And I still feel that that's an everlasting thing and a staple for an owner to always do. And even if your marketer walks away, if they like you and you stop in there, the deal is done. Listen, Kim is not working with us anymore. I still just wanted to let you know that our training is still going, and that still has to happen.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I say it all the time that social media supports that effort. You might be able to make an initial contact with somebody on social media, but get it to be personal as soon as possible. And the reason why, especially in home care, but in any business, it works. But when you think about home care, what is a referral? A referral is a patient. This is a person. And so are they going to refer somebody that they know online, or are they going to refer somebody that they actually physically have met? They want to see your bedside manner. They want to see how you interact with them. If you make them feel comfortable in person, they're going to be more likely to send referrals to you of their patients because they know that you're going to take good care of them because it's not a digital transaction. So definitely have the social media, definitely create the videos, definitely create the content, start the relationship online, and you can even keep it going online week in and week out, but you got to make sure you're making that time for that face-to-face and get real, true strategic partnerships.
Like go in person. You want to do the digital thing and develop relationships. You want to be the master at it. I feel like this is my opinion, is that you go in person when I go into an account and I ask them for their business card or their email or their phone number. Now you can, when they met you in person, and you could do your thank yous and you could do your pitches and all you want. But if now you start sending them your stuff digitally, but they've seen you in person at first. So it's like, hey, how are you? How you doing? Oh, look at one of my podcast things. I go, see, nothing's perfect. So Then they seen you in person, you ask them for their contact information, and then you could start sharing your stuff to them once a month, your newsletters and their Facebook pages or whoever it is. Or even if you have a mobile system, you could text them one of your videos once a month here and there. But then you're in their face, but they met you in person, they know you're a human being. And but they also too is this, they might not want to see you every single week. Don't bother them, well, but once a month sending them an information, well, and if they see in your intakes, they start referring to you, that's great. But don't forget the holidays should be in person. Drop off those goodie bags in person and see them, however it is. But yeah, the main purpose is you and I could go into this another video about that. But it's just that digital and in-person interaction.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, exactly. You got to hit it
And
hard.
I'll even give you an example. Like when I have a great web presence, obviously, with all of my videos, and we make a lot of sales electronically, a lot of sales where people call us in and they sign up for services. And that's the consistent week in and week out. But when I speak at a conference, when I speak at a convention, when I have my own conference and people meet me, I'll sign on 10 times the volume from one event than I do in an entire month online. And that's because people got to actually meet me. They got to spend some time, even if it's only an hour. I was at the Arizona Home Care Association conference at the very, very beginning of March. I signed on more from that one event, and I spoke for 1 hour. I signed on and generated more revenue from that one event than I did from my entire online platform the entire month of March. And March was a great month for us. So it just goes to show that, yes, electronic, keep it going, make the videos, but never will replace, and you can never take your foot off of those in-person relationships.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate you so much, Steve. I've learned so much about you over the years, and I know that hopefully one day we're gonna hit up a football game together, or we'll connect in person. Definitely. I'd love to do an interview with you in person. It'll be to switch it up for us on Empire. So that way we can kind of see how's this magic show? How does this happen in the hurricane? They kind of want to inspire other people is that, your hard work and efforts, it could come to life. And, you and I, we've done this we did home care before for over 10 plus years, and the grind and the energy and the time, I'll tell you that it's the reward is not the money. Okay. The time and energy, that's the only, but you putting in that time, then you get your reward. That's the reward. And then when you start sharing your content, the reward is that people trust you and know you're valuable in the marketplace, in your community, and you become valuable in on the social media trust world. And then that could happen just as valuable as in person as you sharing your story online. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate you, man.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, I've heard this saying when I was in college. It's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so the money comes as a byproduct of you being your caring individual self. And then, yeah, it's easy to go to sleep at night when you know you're doing a good job by your patients, by your clients, and you're making money. So the money comes when you do right by your clients first and foremost. It'll always be that way.
Yeah, it's only the reward. It's not the purpose. It's not the mission. The mission is the human being soul that you are, and that you are taking care of them. And then I believe that God will reward you by you continuously doing that. And so it's not going to happen overnight. And there's people that we know that home care owners for 10 years, 20 years still have the hardship that you're going to go through. It doesn't matter. But if you love what you do, then the reward comes. And so there's tons of testimonials of it. There's lots of people out there that can tell you that they love being in this industry. So never give up. That's that's it.
Amen
so
to that. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Appreciate you. Yeah, no problem. So we'll talk again, and take care. Welcome to our show. Steve was our spotlight on Empire today. And so we were really talking about the value of sharing your story on social media and how important that is.